Look at that. He's making me cry.
I am looking for qualities beyond the physical.
Do you know how long it took to set up this project? All the grubbling I had to do in front of Senator What's-His-Name's committees?
Yes, I know. I am well aware of your efforts.
Then throw me a bone. Hodge passed every test we gave him. He's big, he's fast, he obeys orders, he's a soldier.
He's a bully.
You don't win wars with niceness, Doctor. You win wars with guts. Grenade!
Get away! Get back!
Dummy grenade. All clear. Back in formation.
Is this a test?
He's still skinny.
Sometimes we can see or hear a truth from the unlikeliest of sources, and when we do, it can be like a smack to the face or a bucket of cold water over the head. It's uncomfortable, it catches us off guard. If we immediately feel conviction, there is hope. If not, there is little to no hope. Our consciences have been seared like a hot iron, with no remedy left for us to partake of, and for the rest of our lives we are used as pawns by the enemy to buffet the righteous. After engaging in quite a few watchers' comments on my last video, Who Are the Best Rabbis on YouTube, I can safely say it got received slightly better than I thought, but one of the things that I think is the most telling regarding the vitriol that I received from some now blocked viewers of the channel is the intense dislike of my first two picks, Rabbi Mizrachi and Rabbi Reuven. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in an unprecedented time of wickedness, and a wickedness that is almost becoming the norm, and I ask you, what do we really need right now? Rabbis who have the same demeanor as a cuddly toy and are going to tell you everything's going to be alright when it isn't if you're not going to fix anything? Or rabbis who speak with fire and sometimes scare the living daylights out of us? Take a quick look back at Mount Sinai and have a think for a second. The whole episode was traumatizing to say the least, from the fire and the black smoke to the bellowing shofar, adorning an event that caused people to actually die and get resurrected whenever they saw and heard the voice of Hashem. That's why they pleaded with Moshe to speak on Hashem's behalf. Here is a hint, dear listener. If you have been learning from a rabbi for over a year and he hasn't taught on the importance of refraining from wasting seed or not driving a car on Shabbat, no matter how amazing his lectures are, even if he's doing pirouettes in the Zohar, run like your life depends on it. Notice I said hasn't mentioned these things, and I didn't say one that says it's okay to do these things. Why? Because these people aren't even rabbis at all. They're cosplayers. You see, if you strip everything back of why some people so vehemently dislike Mizrachi and Reuven, you'll find that it's largely the same reasons that many of the Pharisees dislike Yeshua HaNotzri, in that he gave them plenty of scathing rebukes. And if you look at these two modern day individuals, their big guns aren't pointed at the world, they're pointed at Judaism in monumental decline. You see, back in his day, Yeshua wasn't a Christian. He was an ultra-Orthodox Second Temple era Jew who spoke with fire. No one likes to be rebuked. No one likes to be blacklisted. And no one likes to be publicly called out. But when the generation no longer pumps out rabbis like Mizrachi or Reuven, you can kiss everything goodbye. Remember, you have to be eligible to be rebuked. Being rebuked is a sure sign that the one doing it loves you and respects you. We need rabbis who call out the crooks. If we don't, everyone's finished. It's time to stop dancing around the root of the problem. The sheer irony of it all is that Mizrachi and Reuven, who hit Jesus and Yeshua the hardest, yes, I mentioned them as two separate entities, are doing exactly what Yeshua did, using some of the most harshest language and the most graphic idioms for Judaism to lift its game. My late rabbi once said, after hearing a person stand up and accuse him of scaring the people, responded with the following words: "What do I care if I'm scaring the people if it works?" We are at war, both on a physical and spiritual plane, and the volume of rabbis putting out teachings directly arrayed at the heart of the enemy's attack is vastly undermanned. The irresponsible use of the internet and social media is fast-tracking mankind into oblivion, and much of Judaism is turning a blind eye to the weak points in mankind's defenses. I mean, look at the sheer output and the material that these guys churn out. It's staggering. Also consider the flack they get: death threats, lawsuits, media attacks. The cold hard fact is that a rebuke is often shunned because it invites reprisal, and most people's backyards aren't clean enough to launch into it seriously, but we need it, and we need it bad. Might I remind you that Rabbi Reuven went to Israel for the high holidays in September and early October in 2023, and after the massacre, he stayed there for the initial days, posting videos nearly every day, covering the beginning of the war purely from its spiritual perspective. He was the only one with enough guts to quote the end of Psalm 137, of which he took heavy fire, and he continued to aggressively condemn Hamas, and at the same time call his people to tshuva for the many escalating sins of his nation that brought about the judgment. And Rabbi Misraki also had the guts to say the truth and point out the statue of Buddha perched right in the front of the intoxicated and drug-induced revelers before the chaos ensued on a culminating high holiday. The scriptures are rife with great men rebuking their people, sometimes at great cost. Rabbi Reuven also weathered police intervention at his home after continuously rebuking a synagogue for hosting a Christian speaker. Ask yourself, are you ever going to wake up from the God needs us and I wasn't asked to be born mentality? Or are you going to keep swimming in the current, which is going to lead to a fiery furnace? Come on, can anybody truly remember what we were asked before we were jettisoned into our next Gilgul? I didn't ask to be born. How would you know what you asked for? Every neshama pleaded for a chance to prove their love for eating the bread of shame. The Jewish world needs a wake-up call like never before, and who's going to do it? Rabbi Shmuley, the co-author of a book written by him and a Zonah, waxing lyrically at universities with his daughter running a sex shop for Jews. Listen, there are plenty of good rabbis across the web. Ones I didn't mention simply because I'm not across all their material and I haven't been following them closely enough. But this video highlighted the problem. The good rabbis today are shunned. Bad rabbis are venerated. Thank you for watching the video. Bye for now.